Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Her World running on the Steam Deck.
알겠어? 여길 나갈 때까지 절대로 아무 문이나 함부로 열지 마.
Why not?
문이 아닐 수도 있으니까.
Hyung-ah gripped my hand more tightly than before and strode forward in the lead. She seemed a little peeved. When I open a door, what happens? As I put forward my question carefully, Hyung-ah responded with a cold laugh.
문은 어딘가로 연결되기 마련이야. 사라지는 문을 열고 들어가면 어디로 가게 될까?
Hyung-ah kept on smiling and pointed up at the spot on the ceiling, marking the top of where the door had been. There were two black handprints there, as if someone had been latched there, hanging from that spot. The interesting thing about them was that they were much bigger than a normal hand.
넌 창문 너머로 아는 사람의 얼굴을 봤을 거야. 누가 보였어?
Someone who means nothing to me now.
아, 그래?
She looks slightly less peeved now.
그럼 얼굴 위쪽은 봤어?
The top?
그게 뭐랑 연결되어 있는지.
No.
안 봐서 다행이야.
If I got another chance to see the thing, I shouldn't take it. I was settled on that idea. As I gave my head a few shakes to get my brain right, Hyung-ah stepped up to me with that warm smile on her face.
저기, 그렇게 무서웠어?
I wasn't scared.
무서웠으면 달래주려고 했는데. 왜? 땡겨?
What specifically does this comfort entail?
그러니까...
After a quick look around, Hyung-ah picked something up off the floor. She came close and held out the thing in her hand. A small piece of light? What's this?
받아봐.
I took the small shining crystal. It felt like a piece of glass or a gem, or sort of like a D20 die. Hyung-ah reached out and cupped her hand over mine, closing it over the crystal. Then she pushed my hand to my chest. I saw a little glimmer come from it before it grafted itself into my body.
진정해, 원래 그런 거니까.
It was absorbed through my skin.
찾아보면 더 있을 거야. 모으다 보면...
Hurry up and take it back.
괜찮겠어?
Huh?
그게 있어야 여기서 나갈 수 있는데.
You should have led with that. I squeezed my pecs together to hold the crystal in. But what exactly was that thing? Hyung-ah shook her head without saying anything. It looked like she wasn't going to tell me. There she goes again. Miss Hyung-ah? You're really not going to tell me anything? Where is this place? Why all of this is going on? Hyung-ah's hair whipped about as she turned and started walking off.
돌아갈 사람이 그걸 알아서 뭐하게?
Regardless.
뭐야 그럼?
Hyung-ah looked back over her shoulder at me.
여기 남기라도 하게?
That's not it. From the look on her face, I felt like I was suspended in limbo or something. I have one shard. All I have for memories. Hyung-ah, an older woman I met in this empty world. She is trustworthy and caring, but there's something she's not telling me. Can I select one of her stories? Yuri, a female student I met in this empty world. She's hostile in her refusal to leave, but she's kind of a pushover. And Wooby, a little girl I met in the rainy world. There's something mysterious about her. Okay, well, I guess there's not really a story for me to select. After scouring the area for more crystals, we were at the elevators before I knew it. Not just one, but two. I felt as though we'd passed by the same place quite a few times, so why were we only finding this now? It was like they had just appeared out of thin air. One of the elevators was so rusty it looked like the doors were going to fall off at any moment, and there was a dark red handprint on the floor in front of it. The other looked relatively new, making it stand out in a rather odd way.
그래서 말인데
Yeah?
네가 타고 온 게 어느 쪽이었는지 기억해?
It was the last one. It was a little difficult to have to suddenly comb through my memory, but all that stood out was the fact that it was tinted with this strange red hue. I had my doubts if it would actually work, but when Hyung-ah pushed the button, the doors opened with the grating sound of metal on metal. Something about the air coming off the floor here felt colder than that of the hallways. If I get on, I'll be able to go back?
잘못하지만 않으면.
Her voice had gone low once more. Why do you have to sound so menacing like that?
정말로 확실해? 이 엘리베이터야?
She didn't sound like she was playing. It sounded like picking the wrong one would have dire consequences. I replayed the scene over and over in my brain. I could remember wandering down the streets, entering the hospital, and taking an elevator. That weirdly odd elevator. It didn't seem to match the ultra-modern look of the hospital. But did it look this old? I had my doubts.
이런 당장이라도 추락할 것 같은 엘리베이터를 왜 탔대?
I must have lost my mind for a moment there. I tried to get on the elevator, leaving Hyung-ah and her seemingly forced laugh behind me. She had a hold of the hem of my shirt. Yes, Miss Hyung-ah? When I looked back, I saw that Hyun-ah's head had drooped. I could see her eyes since they were covered by her bangs, but it seemed like she had something she wanted to say. There was like this unshakable desperation in the air. It stretched on for some time. Then a smile spread across her lips, and she looked up. It was a smile no different than the one from before. Miss Hyun-ah?
저기, 너
Huh?
이대로 돌아가도 괜찮겠어?
What is that supposed to mean? Will something bad happen if I do?
그건 아니야.
Huh?
그냥 정말로 돌아가고 싶은가 해서.
Isn't that a given? I've got to be getting back to... when I go back, if I go back. My hand instinctively went back to the phone in my pocket and grabbed hold of it. There was no reason for it to ring anymore. Everyone was blocked. The power was off. But still.
돌아가면 뒷수습해야 하잖아. 안 그래?
Huh? Hyun-ah took one step closer. I turned away without realizing it. What are you implying?
너 오늘 여기 들어오기 전에 뭔가 크게 잘못한 일 있지 않았어?
Hyuna had a scary gleam in her eyes. It felt like she was drilling right through me with that gaze.
오해하지 마. 범죄자로 의심하는 건 아니니까. 넌 그럴 사람이 아니잖아. 하지만 그 뒷감당에서 도망치고 싶었을 거야. 전부 다 버리고 떠나고 싶었겠지.
I have no idea what you're talking. Hyuna hammered a fist into the spot of the wall right next to my face. Hyuna, smaller in stature than me, suddenly looked larger than life. Then Hyuna...
오늘 헤어졌지? 사귀던 사람이랑. 그리고 죄책감을 느껴서 도망쳤잖아?
She dropped her next bombshell on me. Who gets all torn up about breaking up with someone?
너.
Do I look like that much of a wimp?
응.
I don't feel the least bit guilty. She was the one who wanted to break up in the first place.
그게 진심이 아니라는 걸 알았잖아? 한두 번 들은 게 아닐 테니까. 그런 식으로 연애 주도권을 빼앗으려 드는 애는 비교적 큰 애. 넌 싸우기 싫어서 해달라는 걸 다 해줬을 거고.
It lasted only a moment. I never could have imagined what else would stress me out that day. Then she started with the words, "We should break up." On any other day, I would have groveled and apologized, saying sorry over and over, a word I heard dozens of times every single day. But instead of saying sorry, which was how I usually started my day to appease her anger, I surprised myself. Okay, we're through. Then a hard shove from behind, sharp as a knife, slicing clean through me.
그러니까 반은 네가 잘못했어. 연애 관계는 밀고 당기는 거잖아. 사랑하는 사람이라고 억지 부리는 게 빤히 보이는데 그저 이해해주기만 하면 버릇 나빠져.
Her voice hinted that she was angry for some reason, like something had been piling up within. Why was she scolding me? I'm grateful for you for saving my life and all, but why is someone I just met today trying to interfere with my love life?
처음이라. 네 쪽에서 보면 그렇겠지?
Besides, what makes you think you know so much about me? Speaking of which... Huh? Hold up.
응?
How did you know that?
뭘?
That we broke up today.
아... 아차차...
Hyuna suddenly looked like a deer caught in the headlights. What? No way. What is it? How do you know? I want details.
야... 일단 진정해.
You really are a ghost.
아니라니까?
Stay back. I quickly jumped back. I raised both arms to the ready and tucked my chin.
지금 네가 뭘 생각하든 그게 아니야.
Then how did you know that?
아니 너 딱 봐도 방금 헤어진 것처럼 하고 있잖아.
You'd have to know I was dating someone to reach that conclusion, wouldn't you? I couldn't just been turned down during a blind date or something. Hyuna put one hand on her forehead and pointed at me with a finger on the other.
폰에 커플 사진 달린 남자가 슬픈 표정으로 방황하고 있으면 그게 헤어진 게 아니면 뭐야?
Ah! I tore the accessory with a picture in it from where it was dangling on my phone and threw it across the room. It looked as though it was going to take a while to get rid of the last traces of her.
폰에 사진을 달고 다닐 정도로 애인을 신경 쓰는 사람이 엉뚱한 곳에서 한참을 헤맸는데 의도적으로 폰을 껐어. 연락할 생각이 없는 거야.
네.
그런데도 무심코 몇 번이나 폰을 들여다보려다 말았잖아? 연락에 즉시 대답해야만 하던 게 습관이 된 거지. 애인한테 잡혀 살던 사람이 방금 헤어졌다. 는 예상은 충분히 가능하지 않겠어?
But then why'd I come to a hospital?
멘탈 깨져서 거리를 방황하다 아무데나 들어온 거 아니야?
I could have been hurt, you know. As I said that, Hyuna got close and stuck her hand in my pockets. Huh? I took a big step back.
이 병원은 1층에서 먼저 접수를 한 뒤에 안내받도록 되어 있거든. 근데 넌 접수증을 가지고 있지 않네?
Maybe I was just visiting a friend.
이번 실은 옆 건물이야, 여기가 아니라.
She crossed her arms. Then she pointed out that I didn't have a visitor's pass either. So how did you know I wanted to run away?
아까 문 너머에 있던 그거. 헤어진 애인의 얼굴을 하고 있었지? 지금 그 누구보다도 만나기 싫은 사람일 테니까.
Was that some sort of phantom? A grin lit up on Hyona's face. It was the grin of someone who somehow knew everything. There was no way she could read minds, right? I tried to send her the thought, I know you can hear what I'm thinking. Or not. However, I had the feeling I was going to lose if things continued like this. I had to take a cool head approach to this. All your guesses make sense. But so do a lot of other ones. Instead of thinking I'd broken the whole thing off, would it make more sense to think that I had just had a fight with my girlfriend? This is a big hospital, so I might not have known about the admission system here, and just been wandering. And as for a picture from a relationship that ended long ago, maybe I just couldn't be bothered to take it off. How in the world? How'd she hit the answer that spot on? Maybe I had things backwards. She wasn't making her guesses based on the evidence. She knew the answers beforehand and was trying to find the evidence to back it up, wasn't she? It was like she was hanging at my side, watching everything. If she did know, how? What had I done since arriving? That crystal. Maybe that thing. Hyuna had a faint smile on her face. She twirled her hair in one hand while she thought, then approached once more.
말을 할 때 중요한 건 그 말의 내용이 아니야.
Huh? She was talking nonsense again.
중요한 건 그 말을 하는 목적이지. 안 그래?
Hey, don't change the subject.
예를 들어 방금 내가 한 것처럼 상대방을 당황시키면
Huh? She put her hands to my chest, and she shoved me hard.
자기가 어디로 가는지도 모르게 할 수 있어.
My back touched a smooth metal wall. There wasn't a spot of rust. The interior and buttons were all clean. Huh? This was the other elevator. When had she led me this way? Then? Before I had time to react, the elevator door closed at remarkable speed. Huh? Miss Hyuna? Out of shock, I hit the emergency stop button again and again, but that did nothing to stop the door closing. What did you...
여긴 존재하지 않는 세상이자 누구도 자각하지 못하는 망각의 저편. 도망치고 싶어서 들어왔겠지만 여긴 낙원이 아니야.
Hyuna ignored my protest and continued her monologue. The elevator doors were now too far closed to squeeze through.
잘 가. 이렇게 직접 대화할 수 있어서 너무 좋았어.
What exactly was going on here? I had no idea what situation I'd got myself into. What was this place even? Was this elevator really going to bring me back? No matter what button I pressed, no matter how hard I tried to pull the elevator door back, it wouldn't stop closing. My strength did nothing to stop it. Did this elevator have any safety have any safety measures? Miss Hyuna, wait a second. What's going on here? Hyuna didn't respond, choosing to turn away instead. The elevator began to rattle violently. The vibration seemed to be coming from all directions. Why are you doing this to me? This is the elevator that will take me back, right? Please say something. Anything.
하지만
Yona popped back into view, her voice now trembling.
더 시간 끌면 내가 나쁜 생각을 할 거야.
There was a deep-seated grief in her smile. Why was she saying those things? Why was she looking at me like that? As I realized I didn't have the faintest idea of what was going on. The elevator door closed. It closed the rest of the way. For a moment I thought it was going to get pitch black in here. Then a red light came on. I had no words to say. I couldn't move a muscle. As if the rattling before was all one big act. Only silence filled the elevator. And then something grabbed my hand. Huh? It was small, like the hand of a child. It felt like it was stroking the back of my hand. But there was no human hand there. Huh? A bright red raincoat. It covered a still figure, its small face staring at the ground. The hand, painted in shadows, was sticking out from the red material and had latched onto my hand. Was that a small girl? Nope. In the dim light that filled the elevator, I couldn't move a muscle. I was frozen solid. You little... Oh my god! The child was nothing but a red raincoat. Her hands were like mist. Even so, the feeling of holding her hand was so real. What are you? The vile devil? What are you doing? What are you doing to... My heart was pounding like mad. Her immaterial hand was still resting on the back of mine. Then, the girl slowly began raising her head. The red raincoat began slowly drooping around her. If she lifted her face just a little more, I'd get a good look at it. A little more. A little more. A little more? For some reason, that face, I felt like I was going to recognize it. That's what crossed my mind when... the girl melted. Huh? The elevator let out a ding, a sound that felt so out of place as the elevator door began to open. Beyond that open door, once again, there was the lobby of the hospital, brimming with life. 5th floor, that's what it read. Huh. Yona, the melted girl, that petite hand that had been gripping mine, they had all disappeared. I let out a long sigh. I grabbed the back of my hand as if I could still feel that touch.
그야 알지. 얼마나 바란 일인데. 하지만 그렇다고 내가 널 가지려 들면 안 되는 거겠지?
So, there's no button for a 4th floor in this hospital. Instead, the 5th floor button is right next to the 3rd. I'd heard that old buildings used to skip labeling the 4th floor because the pronunciation, similar to the word death, made it unlucky, but apparently hospitals still did that. I went back and forth on that elevator from the 3rd to 5th floors, even trying the stairs at one point, but no matter how much I wandered, I couldn't find the floor I was looking for. After going up and down, I realized something. The elevator door didn't look the least bit decrepit. Plus, it didn't look like either of the 2 elevator doors I'd seen thus far. Well then, I remember the picture I'd snapped off the collapsed buildings and looked through my photo album. It was like I'd covered the lens with my hand. It was nothing but the black of my screen. I couldn't figure it out. Was it all a dream? When a person is driven to the most extreme of circumstances, they may see things and create false memories. But had I really gone that far? It was just too surreal, even for a dream. I was chased by monsters created in a hidden lab inside a university hospital, only to be saved by an older female friend wielding a knife and a good deal of relationship advice. What sort of a delusion story was that? meeting someone better right after getting out of a difficult relationship. It's something that doesn't happen in real life. Maybe I should just try therapy next time. I left the hospital and got on a bus that would take me back home. As I looked at the scenery throughout the window, I realized it was still bright outside. I thought I'd been wandering around all day long, but that couldn't have been the case. Not long after turning on my phone, it started vibrating. The screen said it was an unknown caller. When I answered, it was none other than the woman I'd just broken up with. I'd blocked her number and her ID from every message app, so she must have grabbed a friend's phone. Our conversation was nothing out of the ordinary. You crazy? You lost your mind? If you keep this up, we're really through. You know how much you hurt me? Apologize. If you don't want this to be over, you better start groveling. The usual. It was all based on a long, hard-to-come-to-terms-with story, all in that tone I'd heard hundreds of times over the course of our relationship. However, it was based on a pattern of speaking we'd set before officially breaking up. What do you mean? It's already over. Go be happy. Go meet someone better than me. I hung up the phone and blocked that number too. I'd been so clingy just the day before, but now none of it seemed to matter. As if something had shattered over the course of a single day. When you get that feeling that things are building and building, eventually something's going to explode. However, I was much more concerned with the hallucinations I had experienced earlier. I just needed to get home, forget about this exercise, and hit the hay. I shoved the phone deep into my pocket. What a pleasant life I was living. The trees lining the streets looked so beautiful as they flitted by the bus, though I couldn't think of why I thought that. What a mystery, to think that this unknown landscape was turning into something I knew. All I had to do was lift up my head to see the world was so beautiful. Why did I always keep my head down, oblivious to everything around me? Seeing all those phantom beings, dreaming of Hyuna, all that may have been a part of the process of shedding my old mindset. I dismissed it all as one big delusion and nested my head against the window of the bus. The top floors of the hospital slowly sank into the distance. Their colors were oddly muted. Proceed, I guess. Quest, a man apart. Collect 2 memory shards. Oh, here we are again, huh? Creatures stalk our characters and each inflicts a different amount of damage. Each character has unique characteristics and moving abilities. Some may even chase you down until the quest is complete. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. I can run. I see both buttons. Something feels wrong. Even the strongest of us gets tired from too much running. The more you rest up, the more you'll be able to run again. Use your boost strategically to dodge out of the way of creatures. Oh, whoops. Oh, am I stuck here? Seriously? I'm stuck. Okay, well, obviously, the mini quests are not perfect. They still get me. Many shards are scattered about the map. Collect all the shards required to clear the quest. Okay, so I have to go this way. Oh, is this where I started? Oh, it's a super short area, a super small area. The shard glimmers. Quest complete. Episode 2, Hyunna's World, number 1. Was that all really a dream? And if it wasn't... I hear the sound of a siren. It's the siren of an ambulance, probably transporting someone who got hurt. I could smell blood in the air. As the chill tickled my cheeks, I opened my eyes. Here I was in this dark room, illuminated only by the red exit signs. It was hard to figure out what the red walls on all sides were made out of, and there were 2 doors on opposite walls facing each other. Scribble, scribble, scribble. I was sitting on the floor, leaning back against one of the walls. Why was I here? I was doing something before. I wriggled to my feet. Wrestled the control of my limbs and got my thoughts straight. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Then, a few steps in front of where I was now standing, I could see a figure turned away from me. The figure looked human. Even though it was sitting down, the figure looked so small. Was it a child? Only the faint light coming through the crack under the door shone on the figure. It was wearing a raincoat. Scribble, scribble, scribble. The child was still, all except for that left hand writing something on the floor, incessantly writing, on and on and on. I just watched, stuck in a foggy haze. Then, just as my body stepped forward of its own volition, the child stopped. She rose to her feet, her body as stiff and still as ever. It looked as though the only movement was the strange wriggling of her long, dangling hair. As I approached, she turned to look at me. There was no face there, just a shadowy darkness where her face should have been. How can you scribble like that with no face? I wasn't going to let up until I had an answer. Her voice was calm. In fact, there was no emotion at all in her answer. She lost it. So if you forgot your face, you would just be erased? Then she walked over to one of the walls and resumed her drawing. I couldn't see it. What was she so adamant about drawing? I'm assuming that was, what was she so adamant about drawing? Scribble, scribble, scribble. When I got close, I saw that it was Korean characters, not pictures. It was hard to tell what it said with all of the ink dripping down the wall, but there was a pattern. After trying my hardest to decipher the writing next to the dim light, I managed to figure out one sentence. It hurts. Please open the door. You want out? I directed my question at the girl. The girl nodded. Her blank face was locked on mine as she pointed at one of the doors. On the rusty lock, there were signs that someone had been scratching away at it from the inside. Was that the exit then? Who would lock up a kid? No way. Was it just because she was missing a face? Move to the side. I stepped back a bit. Then I gave the ancient door a hard kick. It felt a little like breaking a man's bones as I sent the door crashing to the floor. There, it's open, was what I was about to brag, but the space beyond the busted down door was hazy, seemingly filled with a thick fog. I carefully reached my hand out and felt a resistance like a current of water. For some reason I thought I could pass through it, but that girl could not, though I had nothing to base that on. The faceless girl looked disheartened, so I... What do we have to do to let you cross through?
도와줄 거야?
Yeah?
왜?
Because I'm older than you. She stared blankly at me, despite having no eyes. I said nothing, only pointing to a spot on the floor. There was a faint glimmer. One of those crystals was lying there. Was it actually the crystal lighting up the place?
주워줘.
Why should I?
도와준다며.
I meant I'd help you do things you can't do yourself. I think you can manage to pick that up on your own.
내가 주울 수 있는 건 비오는 세상에 있는 것뿐이야. 여기 있는 건 못 주워.
Huh? As I questioned her, she hopped over toward the lump of light. She moved her hand as if to pick up the crystal, but her hand just whipped through it like it didn't really exist. Was her not being able to touch it part of her having no face, too? Ah. Sorry. I reached out and carefully picked up the crystal. It was sort of like glass in some ways and stone in others. Hmm? The girl was up on her tiptoes, face sticking out at me. What?
먹여줘.
Since she had no face, I couldn't tell if her mouth was open or not. I stuck the crystal where I roughly believed her mouth to be. The red light started slowly disappearing as if it were being absorbed by a black void. For a second there, I thought I could see the girl's face. It looked as though she couldn't touch it, but she could swallow it if someone fed it to her, although I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be feeding her stuff off the ground. Since you ate it, you can cross through too now. Or since you ate it, you can cross through too now?
응. 오빠야가 옮겨주면.
Come here.
응.
The girl came to me, arms wide. I gently lifted her and squeezed through the white mist that seemed to be blocking our way forward. The resistance hit my whole body like a strong headwind trying to blow me away. I just ignored it and pushed through by force. The girl was quivering like she was ill and had her head buried in my arms. I wrapped my arms further around her and stepped forward. Then suddenly, as if the wind had stopped blowing, the resistance let me up entirely. Okay, we're through. As soon as I said that, the girl burst free from my arms. She didn't look back once. The girl disappeared, red raincoat fluttering behind her. No face, no manners. Kids these days, all the same. Looking back, I had a clear view of the room we just escaped from. Had the fog blocking our way disappeared? The girl's abundant graffiti was dark red, as if it had been written in blood. With how sticky it looked to be, it was hard to tell. And from the door across the one I'd broken down, someone started banging. It sounded like whoever it was wanted to break through. Could I just leave it like that? I decided to catch the girl who'd run away and asked her. I started walking down the oddly twisted-looking hallway. It felt like I was sinking into a pile of mud on the floor. No, wait. It wasn't that the hall was twisted. My legs were melting, spreading out across the floor. It was more like my body was made of mud. The darkness that engulfed me didn't seem to be from the late hour. Was it that my eyes were melting away? It's that kind of day. Instead of walking, I slid along the floor, following the girl's footsteps. Each print had a clear line between it and the next one, as if water was flowing from the girl's shoes. After following her path for quite some time, I finally found her. There was the girl in the red raincoat, lacking a face. At least, I knew it was her, but like me, she also seemed to be slowly melting. And also, I saw someone else. A shadowy figure. This one stood at the height of a normal person. The hallway definitely looked twisted, like something had gone horribly wrong, but the shadow was different. The strangest thing was that the shadow appeared solid at first. It was hard to tell which direction it was facing, but it looked to be facing the girl, its back to me. Did that mean she had already found a way past the shadow? I wanted to stand there a moment and figure out what was going on, but I didn't have the time. The shadow picked up a long object. It looked like a long metal pipe, but I couldn't tell through the shadow. Then the thing lifted the metal pipe, looked down at the faceless girl, and... Hey, you! Right before it could start swinging, I jumped at the figure. I took the shadow's back and threw it to the floor. Just because the kid didn't have a face, he was going to hit her? What a bigot! The next moment, I had the shadow in a full back mount. My body was so much more flexible than usual. It was like I didn't have a bone in my body. Oh wait, is this me attacking myself? The shadow struggled and shouted something, but the thing felt about as strong as me, but when strength was equal, having his back gave me an overwhelming advantage. With me having the body of this peeved shadow tied up, the girl took off towards the elevator. It is me, I think. As the shadow continued its fruitless struggle against me, I suddenly started to question things. What was I doing? Where was I? Was my body always like this? Why was I able to so easily dismiss the fact that the girl had no face? Wasn't something wrong about all of this? Why was I just taking everything that was happening as a given, as if things had always been this way? I felt lost in my own head, like someone waking from a dream. Then, the moment I saw the long black hair fluttering about, I felt the cold, hard steels. It sunk into my heart. Yeah, it is. I am fighting myself. Kia! As I felt myself tossing and turning on top of my covers, I finally managed to open my eyes. I checked to see if there was a gash on the left side of my chest where the chill remained. I let out a long sigh. It was just a dream. Thank God. The grotesquely twisted world of my dreams only felt disturbing the moment I woke up. When I was dreaming, it all seemed so natural. But how? Sometimes that was just the case. To me, in my dreams, at times, he had completely different memories and sensibilities from me. But why did I dream about that? Because of everything that I experienced yesterday? Though I still wasn't sure if that in itself was dream or reality anymore. I picked up my phone to check the time. I had slept in quite late, but fortunately the semester had ended a week ago. For vacation classes, I'd only signed up for a few internet lectures. For a while, I was going to be okay lazing about a bit. Either way, my reality, unlike the bizarre scenery inside that dream, was peaceful. I had switched off my phone earlier, so I held down the power button to turn it back on, confident that everything would be fine. I got hit with a barrage of missed calls and texts from a variety of unknown numbers. It seems as though my ex hadn't come to terms with the situation. I just blocked the numbers without checking what the messages said. Then I fell back onto my bed. I gave my muscles a nice long stretch. I brought a hand up to feel my forehead and the back of my neck, cool and dry. Just yesterday afternoon, a single phrase she spoke out of frustration had caused me to break out in a cold sweat. Was it just the fact that we'd broken up that was allowing me to rid myself of all this emotional baggage? I felt so light and free. Shall we head out? It was more annoying than anything, as I had read before. They who go feel not the pain of parting. Dwelling on someone who's gone for good is a waste of time. How about I go find something else to be absorbed in so I can forget all this? I hadn't been in the gym for a while. I checked the messages from my other friends and group threads, getting rid of the unread sign or responding appropriately. As I did, I took a shower, got dressed, and got ready to head out. Then I put on the jacket I'd worn yesterday, and right when I was checking out the way it fit in my full-length mirror... I checked out the back of the jacket in the mirror, and there, as if something had kicked me in the back, was a footprint. Not that I'd ever been treated for any sort of psychological condition, but I'd heard about hallucinations from an acquaintance who had been treated for those symptoms. Contrary to public perception that delusions are purely visual hallucinations, or the sense that you're walking through a dream, they say that people experiencing hallucinations can see, hear, and feel what they're experiencing. When the symptoms get bad enough to require treatment, that's when it's most difficult to distinguish between hallucination and reality. However, no matter how high quality the hallucination and how hard it may be to distinguish between the two, there was one fact that could not be changed. Hallucinations could not leave footprints on clothes. After getting off the university hospital elevator for the 5th time, I took a photo with my camera of the foot left in my jacket, checking it again and again. I even grabbed a few passers-by and asked them if they could see the mark. In the end, I concluded that the footprint was not the product of any sort of hallucination. This isn't dirt or water. The footprint is black and looks to have been the result of a hard kick. The fact that it's right here in front of me, it means none of that was a dream. A landscape filled with ruins. The strange forms that attacked me. The giant that stared at me from the other side of the door. Hyuna wielding that knife of hers. The reasonable argument that none of that could exist and the concrete proof right in front of me stood at odds with each other. My mind was racing and my heart was pounding for some reason. The fear of approaching something I knew firsthand was terrifying. Was losing out to the adventurous spirit that wanted to figure out what was going on here. Actually, to be perfectly honest with myself, I was in need of a job that I could lose myself in. This mystery, bringing me back to my middle school days, was the perfect incident to do just that. I got on and off the elevator for the 6th time, but there was still no 4th floor to be seen. I may have been starting to look suspicious at this point. In the end, of course, I was unable to return. Alright, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Her World running on the Steam Deck. Yeah, pretty interesting visual novel. I do like all the production, and although not everything is voice acted, well, all the important characters, all one of them that we've met so far is. So, yeah, pretty intriguing stuff. Definitely check it out if you're into this, sort of like mystery. I don't know if horror is the right word, but certainly mystery thriller genre of visual novel. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.